Welcome back to the Code Wheel podcast. I am your host, Cody Ryan, joined by my fantastic co-host, William Rommel. William,
What is up, guys? I'm fucking hyped to be back.
let's go. We're just seething right now.
I know.
We continue to grow. We continue to get more boys listen to the podcast, more of the homies listen to the podcast, whether male or female or anything in between. We appreciate you as listeners, and we're in for a good podcast this week.
Yes, I'm hype. We're just talking about how poorly planned this episode is,
dude.
basically. But
yeah, well, the thing is, we basically don't plan pretty much any episode unless we say oh, let's do a BuzzFeed quiz, or oh, let's do this. Like, we just come here and we talk, because I think that's when you get the best stuff, the most authentic stuff.
I think we kind of just shoot an idea to the other person, and then we oh yeah, that's good, and then we talk about that, and then we get off onto tangents about that stuff, and yeah. So we're gonna do that this week.
Hell yeah. So we have questions this week. We figured we had enough people on the Instagram. By the way, if you're not following us on Instagram, it's Code Wheel Pod on Instagram. So follow us.
Yes.
Go subscribe to us on YouTube too if you don't watch the YouTube show. So
100%.
We have questions. We put up just a general Q&A. And you know what? You can go first, because I know you took a little bit more time looking at the questions than I did. So do you have one in mind that you would like to go to first?
Yeah, I think I want to throw out Jordan's question discussing who is better out of the two of us.
Neither. We're both absolute kings, and we we need to appreciate and support each other. But you know what? Will's gonna throw that out. That's fine.
Just to answer that question, I do agree with Cody. Neither of us are better overall except me, but we both excel at different things in life.
Yeah, we've got very different skill sets.
And so except we both excel at bringing a terrific podcast to the people that listen to this show. So
let's go.
And you know what? If you want to just bring this directly to who's the better podcast host, I'm gonna go neither, or both. I think you got to go two best podcast hosts probably in the world. I would guess.
Dude, we've been doing podcasts together for years. Yeah, we've literally.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. We did put one out years ago.
Exactly. So we've been doing this for years.
Yeah, probably the best. My guess would be probably the best podcast host in the universe.
In the
probably
universe, yeah, we haven't explored all of the depths of it yet.
If I care about the unknown.
Then we're talking. Yeah,
you're gonna tell me that in the unknown universe there's someone better? No, I don't.
Yeah, their radio waves haven't even reached us, dude. We're sending these out forever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have you know, all of these podcasts are broadcast out into space.
Fuck, dude, I just got water all over my bed. Quick side note. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I just took a drink of water, and I put the cap down on my bed. For whatever reason, was wet as fuck. I don't know how it got water in it, but
wet ass cap.
Yeah. So okay, back on track. You can get back to the questions.
Yeah. So by the way, we are the only podcast that is searching for life in the unknown. Don't check that. So we're gonna go with one. We have 8 questions from Brandon Hugh, and a lot of them are. So we're gonna go. He asked us McDonald's, Wendy's, or BK. This is contentious, but I feel like there's one clear wrong answer, and it's Burger King.
I'm gonna probably give that answer too.
Burger King is trash. If you're talking about the spectrum, like fast food is good but bad, as we all know. But Burger King has a way less high ceiling than either of those, and a lower floor.
I disagree. But I'll let you give your take, and then I'll give mine, because mine will be different from yours. So I'll let you.
Okay.
I want to leave the listeners with the right opinion. Second, I want to leave the taste in their mouth of the correct opinion.
Wendy's is the best. That's you have to like sometimes it's hit or miss with Wendy's because sometimes you find a Wendy's that isn't necessarily up to snuff. But I find with McDonald's, a lot of the times they skimp on condiments, which is really annoying. I mean, I'm loyal. I like having a good, double quarter pounder from time to time. But if I'm gonna go for quality, I'm gonna go to Wendy's every time, and I'm gonna get a lemonade from Wendy's every time I get an order.
So
Yeah.
I will say the one thing I'll give McDonald's is no other fast food restaurant has collaborated with Travis Scott. So that's a huge W for McDonald's.
You could say it's lit.
Yes, you could say that it's similar to The Night Show because it is lit. Shout out fucking Antidote, shout out Rodeo, shout out Travis.
Fuck you.
McDonald's or The Night Show, which one?
Which one do you want to go to? Do you want to go to The Night Show?
Which one are you more likely to find your bitch at? Because apparently she's not at home. She's at The Night Show and or McDonald's.
Yeah, she's at one of those places.
So
they're both really cool. She's there.
Yes. But I have okay, I don't even know because I don't even know if I think Burger King is the best, but I do not like the hate it gets, and I always have thought that because I think Burger King has the most authentic tasting burger. I like the flame grilled burger that Burger King puts out there. I also I really do think they have the best fries out of the three. I actually do. I like the crispy, but also have actual potato inside of them. They have onion rings, which neither McDonald's or Wendy's have. Onion rings are gas.
Onion rings are overrated, IMO. I think we've been over that.
I disagree. Continuing.
Big into them. Yeah.
Burger King also has the best shakes. Burger King shakes are better than McDonald's shakes. That's true. Frosties are great, but it's not a shake.
Yeah, I don't have the data for that one.
Burger King has the most extensive menu. Like they do the most experimental things, if that makes sense. Like they have more types of burgers, I think, than the other two. And yeah, I guess I just overall I'm a big fan of the flame grilled patty. I don't know. I have recently gotten a little bit more into the McDonald's burger because obviously I've always loved like, a nice McDouble or something like that. I also love Wendy's. I like all three of these a lot.
Yeah.
But McDonald's now has like the fresh made quarter pounders. Those are really good.
Quality. High quality.
Travis Scott Borgar also existed there, which was delicious, which also that opened me into the world of pickles. Remember how I said I had recently become a pickle guy? Like I was never anti-pickle. I was never anti-pickle. But when I got that burger, I was like, I will eat it the way God, Travis Scott, intended. So I did, and I was like, damn, these pickles actually kind of fucking go. So then I just, and if you want to piggyback off of this question, Brandon also asked us about our favorite artists, and I don't know if you can get a vibe for who mine might be.
No. Will doesn't wear that one on his sleeve at all. Will actually, believe it or not, Will is actually really into avant-garde artists. He's into guys who are off the beaten path. He was a big Peggy guy from the beginning. You know what I mean? He's 100 gecs to the teeth. It's very experimental. Very
Death Grips.
Yeah. Death Grips has had one of the greatest runs in the last 10 years of music out of anybody. So,
anyone who knows the Death Grips joke, like don't play Death Grips in front of the bitches. Very quick, funny story about that.
Yeah. Did Aaron play Death Grips in front of the bitches?
No, Aaron was playing Death Grips, and just Jenna was here. Like we were just like hanging out in my room, and her and I were just hanging out in my room, and I heard him playing Death Grips, and I was like, dude, Jenna's gonna leave. Like, stop.
Dude, she's literally gonna leave, bro. There is a woman here. You cannot be playing Death Grips.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
But yeah, my favorite artist is Travis Scott.
Let's go top three.
I will say, you say that like as if like I started liking Travis like when Astroworld dropped and I just hopped on the bandwagon of the biggest artist in the world. Like,
Nah, I'm I'm being facetious, but yeah. No, I
but
know. I've been a big Travis guy for a long time.
so I need to. I don't know if I can just give you like a definitive top three. Definitive. I mean,
Definitive, yeah. Give me a rough round. Give me a rough Mount Rushmore. There we go.
I think it would be safe to throw Brockhampton in there.
Brockhampton. Let's put
thank you for that, by the way.
On for that, of course. I've got a nose ring. I have to be a Brockhampton fan.
Fuck. I'm pulling up my Apple list right now just to like give myself a refresher.
All right, I can give you a couple. Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
So, the man that I've listened to for the last 4 years on repeat every day, Healy. There's like he's gaining in popularity. A lot of people know him. He's got like tens of millions of streams on some of his songs, but that's also because they've been out for 4 years. The man never releases music. He just released a new song recently, which I'm really excited about. I think there's an album on the way, but so Healy is big up there for me. And then I have to say Frank Ocean. You know, Frank Ocean, I don't even have to explain. Let's move on. Brockhampton. Established. I have a nose ring. I'm wearing a pink sweater. Yeah, I like Brockhampton.
Classic.
Yeah. So we actually went and saw Brockhampton in concert together, which was
that was dope.
time. It was about a year ago yesterday. You see those memories on your Snap?
That was a year ago, or was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Sorry. Yeah. The years just blend together.
Yeah.
Time isn't real.
But yeah, that was dope.
Yeah. So it's Healy, Brockhampton, Frank Ocean, and then that's a tough one. I think if I'm gonna go all time, I have to include John Mayer on the list because the man always just makes me feel good, man. Like I'm sure I'm leaving somebody off that I'm gonna regret, but John Mayer is undefeated. So
I think that's fair. I have always been a very large fan of J. Cole. His music kind of just makes me feel nice. It's very relaxing.
Yeah.
I don't think
man.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it into my top. Yeah, I don't think he makes it into my top 4. But
yeah,
I love Future. I fucking love Future.
Oh, really?
I just have to. Yeah, Future's such a huge god. Future top 5 godliest people to ever exist.
Top 5 sickest people to ever just
yes
put on an epidermis.
Yes. I have been very large into or I should say I loved Harry Styles' last album. And I'm going to see him in concert about a year from now with Jenna. That cost me a pretty penny.
But so jealous, dude.
That is going to be a great time. And we'll both be 21, and it's at a casino. So that's at Mohegan. Drinking, gambling, Harry Styles concert.
Go get hammered at a Harry Styles concert and just cry.
Yeah. I'm pumped for that. Guess who my 4th most listened to artist this year is?
Who?
One Direction.
Wow. That is wow moment.
I've been bumping One Direction. That's kind of I've always liked One Direction, but that's kind of a Jenna influence there. Like whether she's picking the music in the car or I listen to a lot of One Direction on my own, like in the beginning of the year, even before we started dating. But I 100% before Eternal Atake may have put Uzi up here because I fucking loved Love Is Rage 2. I was a huge love, and I thought Eternal Atake was But
Eternal Atake was good. IMO, but
it's good, but
it's good. It's still like the nostalgia for old Uzi is really strong, and it's hard to like stuff that he puts out that's new because like you're just thinking back to 2016, and you're like, damn, like I think it's all the nostalgia that's also like attached to that music for everybody. You know what I mean? So it's hard
Yeah.
for him to break out of that box.
And then I'm giving a lot of artists here, but I guess I'm kind of just throwing out the ones that
artists.
yeah, I know. This is Travis Scott protege. Don Toliver has been someone that has been consistently on my playlist throughout the last year or so.
Dude,
I think
who I left off?
Who?
So I'm gonna make an amendment. So it is Healy, Frank Ocean, oh my God, Brockhampton, and Kid Cudi. There we go. Definitive.
Oh yeah, I should have thought about
I
that.
I was gonna do that.
Travis and Kid Cudi hopefully will be coming out with a collab album. That's
Kid Cudi's undefeated lately. He even made a song with Eminem sound decent. So that's all that. That's all that matters.
Okay. Here's the thing. I respect Kid Cudi. I respect the music he makes. I actually like a lot of his instrumentals. We've gone over this. I can't do his voice, and I don't know if I've given you this take before, but I think this is, regardless of how you feel about him, I think this is, you'll be able to admit that this is true and it's funny. I don't know if I've said it to you before, but if Kid Cudi were to go on American Idol, that motherfucker would not make it to Hollywood. He would get.
Well, yeah. Like neither would Travis Scott, and neither would like anybody.
I know, but they
Kelly
use
Clarkson
stuff to
won that shit, and she's insufferable.
But they use stuff to cover up their voice being not good. Kid Cudi just flaunts it.
That's not true. It's a whole different thing, but that's whatever. We're not going to go into the intricacies of Kid Cudi's voice and his humming. That is not what this podcast is about, and that's fine. Whatever. So yes. So give me your concrete.
Fuck, dude.
Top 4. You just spit some names out there. It doesn't matter if you leave somebody off. The 5 is not a bad spot to be.
Okay, Travis Scott, number 1, definitively. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah, of course.
Probably gonna slide Brockhampton in at number 2. Not that these have to be in order, but I probably would slide them in there.
Yep.
Actually, I just remembered somebody, but he hasn't put out music this year, so he really is not too high up in my Apple replay. That would be Rex Orange County. Rex Orange County fan, so I might slide him up into my top 4, and then I'll probably go, just based on how much I liked his last album, Harry Styles. So that's
all right. Good.
I would go with that.
All right. 20 minutes later, we have your question answered.
I know. Fuck.
So let's do. So, all right. Does a lamp give off light, or does it suck the dark?
It's from Sam.
Do you have a take on this? Because I don't. Yeah, you think so? It's
both.
How can it be both?
Because I'm currently looking at my own lamp, which if you're watching on YouTube, which if you're not, you should be, you could see that I was looking off camera. So, and just to mention again, Code Will Pod on YouTube and Instagram. Follow the Instagram. If you're not following the Instagram, follow the Instagram. But I'm looking at my lamp, and I see that it is quite obviously giving off light, right?
Yeah, no.
However, if I were to turn off my light this instant, matter of fact, let's test it out. Again, if you're not watching on YouTube, if you want to go see this, I'm about to turn my light off. You will see my room go completely dark.
This is great podcasting here. We're doing things off camera.
Which therefore means that there's a chance that the dark is being sucked. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk away real quick. I'm going to bring my mic with me. I'm going to talk as I go. But I'm going to turn my light off, and I'm going to observe the light. And if I see dark coming from within my lamp, I will then conclude that my lamp does in fact suck the dark as well as give off light. Okay. So That's a close one.
It's a close one.
I think I'm gonna have to go with it gives off light. That's gonna be my final answer.
Yeah.
I'll lock that in.
Yeah, I think I saw it like when I did my own independent experiment while you were talking. I saw light flooding from light to the rest of my room, not the other way around, you know?
That's a tough one.
So yeah. It's a good question, Sam, and I appreciate you asking us because we are, as you know, at the same time as being the premier podcasters in the known universe, we are also premier scientists.
Yeah, if you ask me, that's a very creative question. One I'm glad you asked because it made me think about it in a different way than I ever had before. So
exactly, you never know.
So I also very quickly wanted to get to CJ's question because it is a conversation I had earlier with Evan because I was on Xbox with Evan and I was going over. He asked like what the questions were.
Mm-hmm.
I was giving him a quick preview.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about this because CJ's question is pumpkin spice overrated? So this would be my personal answer to this. And I'm going to quote Evan because something he said is I find to be very true as well. That pumpkin spice or pumpkin flavored things, it's held to an impossible standard. That was his quote, which I would completely agree with. That the way pumpkin and pumpkin spice is talked about by people, it's like it could never actually be that good.
So you're saying it's set up to fail by the culture around pumpkin spice.
Correct. But that does not change the fact that pumpkin stuff, like if you gave me a pumpkin donut, a pumpkin muffin, like anything, pumpkin pie, pumpkin flavored, like pumpkin bread, all of that stuff to me is like fucking delicious. But it's impossible for it to stand up to the test of being one of society's greatest inventions, which is basically what it can be talked about like. So
okay, so I'm gonna give you my take here. You at home, pumpkin spice stuff is bad. Stop pretending it's good. I don't like pumpkin spice, and I will die on that hill. You can come find me. We can duke this out, but pumpkin spice is bad. I'll sit down now.
Yeah, Cody stood up for that one. That was a take that had a lot of animosity behind it. But I
believe heavily in that take.
I strongly disagree with that. Like I think pumpkin donuts, pumpkin muffins are fucking delicious. Pumpkin. I've only had like a pumpkin iced coffee. If you're gonna go liquid form, I had that from Dunkin's last year. I'd never had it, and I decided I wanted to try it. It was fine. I thought it was fine. Like I didn't think it was like great. Not nearly as good as its counterparts that come in pastry form. But so I'm going to go with it's overrated, but strictly because it's like it has a rating that would be nearly impossible to live up to. To live up to. I went crazy there.
So here's the thing. For me, the way that I break it down is if I go to Dunkin' Donuts and they have a pumpkin donut available, am I going to pick that over maple frosted? No. Am I going to pick that over glazed? No. Am I going to pick that over blueberry glazed? Hell no. Am I going to pick that over even like a strawberry, like a filled donut or something? No. So if it's not better than any of those, it's not a good donut. It's not a good flavor. And I don't do the coffee stuff, so I can't really speak on that.
I agree to disagree on that one.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. That is very fine.
Do you want any more questions here you want to hit, or do you want to move on to?
Yeah, we're not gonna do the Trump Biden thing.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like getting into that.
Mayo is very good, but
didn't we go? We went over Mayo, Brandon.
We went over Mayo. We've talked over. Brandon obviously doesn't listen to the podcast. We'll just cut this part.
Or he does, or will we cut it? No,
and he's an asshole.
He needs to hear this. He needs to. What if? Okay, he could be throwing it in there as like a because I had an interesting take on Mayo, and you loved Mayo, so maybe it was like he did listen and he's throwing it in there, or maybe he doesn't listen and he's a fake listener.
Guarantee he doesn't listen.
Yeah. So
but he's very much a contributor on the Instagram, and that we appreciate immensely.
Yeah, again, if you don't follow the Instagram, follow it, Code Will Pod. If you
Always
do,
be plugging.
yeah, if you no, cheap plug. If you do, and we put up a Q&A or anything like that, or poll, participate, you might even get your name mentioned on here, which ton of clout comes with that. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
know this, but we get like 80 listens for our podcast, okay?
80 plus, boy.
Okay.
Don't fuck with us. We're the big boys in the podcast world. Don't play with us. We have several tens of listeners.
Yeah, could be okay. This week goal, let's try and break 100. That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah, we're gonna need some more aggressive promotion, but I
We can promote, and I will say, if you're listening right now, and you think you know somebody who would like this, show them.
Dude,
Like,
I get messages from people saying they listen to us in the gym.
that's
God
insane.
bless.
That's
Dude,
fucking nuts.
The fact that you're getting gains while you're listening to us is tight. So so that's
For real.
So you know what? Actually, we plan the podcast out differently than this, but I'm gonna ask you now before we get into some stories in a little bit.
Okay.
How was your week?
Not great. If I'm gonna be honest. Just mentally haven't been in a good spot. My mental stuff has just been like just not
Yeah.
at it's been at its peak, which has put me into not at my peak.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's been in full swing. It's doing great.
yeah, exactly. It has been. So sometimes, you get into times like that where you just go through a time where your mental state isn't as good, and that's okay. Outside of that, I'm gonna let you finish. I will say I spent my weekend with Jenna, which is very nice. We went to this Yankee Candle place that's near here. Incredible place. Yankee Candle Village. There's only 2 of them in the country. One of them happens to me like 10 minutes from my school. And it's
That's it.
insanely sick. So we went and we got I got a car freshener, or air freshener for my car. I don't know. And then I also got this thing that I have that's
Car
like,
freshener.
yeah, this thing is like beads in a cup, and it like gives off scent. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but I got one for my room. Makes my room smell like whatever
That's
scent.
sick.
We had a good time. Got some fudge.
Dude, it makes it smell like anything else other than like a 20-year-old man. Then
Yeah.
that is great.
Which is better. Yeah, exactly. So, and then we also we discovered that Domino's Brooklyn style pizza is delicious. If you're gonna get Domino's, I'm gonna recommend you try the Brooklyn style pizza. It's it's the thickness. It's between a thin crust and a normal crust. So it's like a thin crust New York style sort of pizza. Very good. Big fan. But the end of my week is going to be something I told you about yesterday, which can get us into our next topic of conversation. So I'll let you go, and then I'll finish my week.
All right. So my week, it's actually been pretty good. Like, honestly, with routine stuff, with mental health, I should say, with mentally, it's been a back and forth week where, like, it's good, but you have to, like, I've been staving off like certain thoughts. You know what I mean? So
Yes, trust me. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you know it way more than I do. So
Yeah.
But so I've been doing well with that, and I've been doing a lot of drawing, as I always do, which has been awesome. I've actually I made a couple of them that I'm super proud of, and I actually went down to Staples to find out how much prints cost, because I've had people asking me if I'm going to be making prints at some point, and maybe, who knows? So
Sick.
so that would be tight.
You've made some cool stuff. Jeez.
Yeah.
Hit my computer. We was shaking. But yeah.
Like I went to mom's house tonight, made some dinner with Trevor, hung out with my little brother Adam. So, it's overall been a pretty good week. I mean, like, I got my car inspected early so I can hopefully sell it soon. I have to do I still am in the middle of appeals process for trying to get my stuff back from my flight and all that. But yeah, I feel good reading, playing a ton of Smash Online, which is a oh my god, so much fun. Me and Trevor have played hours and hours of Smash, especially this week. But yeah, it's been pretty good. So what were you gonna say that was gonna lead into our next thing?
So yesterday, I was driving Jenna back to her school from mine. And so I'm driving. I'm on the highway. Have been driving for about probably an hour at this point. And you know when you're driving in the snow and your like ABS just comes on because you have low traction? That just started happening. Like I was on the highway and my brakes just were being applied for me. And it's
as they do.
Perfectly dry outside, and like there's no reason for me to have low traction. And so this is happening. And then also my all-wheel drive light comes on my dashboard. My ABS button comes on my dashboard. My brake light comes on my dashboard. My low traction light comes on my dashboard. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is happening to my car right now?
Your car was being possessed by a ghoul, ghost,
a fucking brake ghoul. It was, and so
why don't we use the word ghoul more? By the way, that is an underused word.
That is a good one. It also is not spelled how it should be, but
no, the howl.
Like most words in English is a crazy language. Not most, but many. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, Jenna, please get out my manual out of my glove box.
Manual, that's sick.
So she's looking through the manual for like what each of those things means. And so apparently I have some sort of malfunction with my all-wheel drive system, which is because I have like, it has something to do with, it's like if the diameter of your wheels are different in the rear and the front, like they're not.
Oh.
So what I was thinking is, okay, maybe this is because I have a low tire pressure warning that I've had for weeks. But listen, there's a reason that I left it there. And it's because last time I had one, my dad and I were doing research, and my car, I have a Nissan Rogue, 2011. They are known for having faulty warnings for low tire pressure.
Nissan Rogues and Nissan Muranos are known for having faulty everything, actually, just so you all know.
So instead of actually checking to see if I had low tire pressure, I just assumed that I didn't because that was easier. So
there's way more battles you're waging than you with your tires.
So then I was like, okay, well, at the very least, I will like check my tire pressure and make sure they're all correct. Well, it turns out, so my tires are all supposed to be at 33 PSI. My back right was at 25. So filled that bad boy right up. Filled all of those up to their correct, weight in air per square inch. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, I'm good, right? And so I did this after I dropped Jenna off, and I'm driving back, and for an hour, my low pressure light is off, and all my other lights are off. And I'm like, sweet, I am in the clear. No, I was not. So, I am driving again. I'm about an hour into my drive. All of these lights come back on again, and I start braking on the highway, not under my control.
A danger to society.
Yeah, and I can't accelerate. It's just a bad time. And so, which it happened at very random times too. Hate that word, by the way. Random. Hate it. But
absolutely random.
But it did happen at just times where there didn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to it. Yeah. But at this point, I'm calling my dad, as I've been talking to my dad the whole day, because this is technically his car. So I need to communicate with him about this. And so he's like, I don't know. He's like, take it to like a Nissan dealership as soon as you can. Cause my dad was like, if it's a technical issue, like if it's a computer type issue in your car, they'll know how to deal with it the best. It might cost more, but like you'll get your problem solved. And I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. So my plan is to do that this weekend. But after I get all this figured out and I'm currently just, driving on the road where my brakes could be slammed on, but not by me at any time, I decide to call Cody and be like, hey, podcast idea, car stories. Let's talk about things that have happened involving us and cars.
Yep.
So I will kick it over to you and let you start this off and see if you can think of a story you have involving a car.
All right, so I have a fun one. So my first car was a 2000 Toyota 4Runner, right? So I love that car. I named it Frida. It was silver. It had like the back window goes down. I don't know if you guys are familiar with 4Runners, but I had like the sunroof. I put in my own little radio system. I was 16 and having a ball. It was a really good time. But it had a lot of problems because my aunt lived near the Cape, and it was like this car that they just like basically trashed on for years that I ended up getting for basically nothing, right? So I was super lucky to have that. But like the problem is it came with a bunch of issues. So like for a while I had to like clean out, like there were mothballs all over the place because down in the Cape apparently mice getting in your car is a real issue. But like, just so you know, this is not a very well held together car, and those cars have notorious problems for having rust for their frame. So the frame was rotting under me while I was driving. But so there were a lot of electrical issues as well, probably due to there being mice in there at some point. But so I had this one time where I was driving and I could feel there was something wrong with the car. Like as I pushed the accelerator, it wasn't exactly responding the right way. So I was like, okay. And like, I would have to give it a jump all the time. So I was like, oh, maybe my alternator is just like gone. I don't know if you know anything about cars, but the alternator, whatever, I'm not going to get into it. I was like, maybe this thing's wrong. I can go to AutoZone. I can get that and I can put it in myself with like a couple YouTube videos to help me. And as I was driving to AutoZone, which is roughly 1.5 miles from my house.
Yeah, that's a close drive.
Yeah. So as I was driving there, I started noticing weird things with the car. Like it would jump, right? It would jump back and forth. And like, as I was starting from a light, it wasn't responding very well. And then I was like, oh man, I really got to push it to get to AutoZone. So I just like I was putting my foot basically down at the floor and was getting little to no response. And like, as I drove, I got less than 100 yards from AutoZone around a really busy intersection with a jug handle, if you know Amherst Street in Nashville very well. And the car, as I tried to take off from another intersection, completely died. Nothing going on. Like my gauges had been going crazy back and forth like this and dying. And then my car just died right then. So I was like, okay, well, so I immediately called AutoZone. I was like, hey, do you guys have an alternator? Because like my car just died like literally 100 feet from your shop, from your place. And they were like, yeah, we have the right one, blah, blah, but like there's a chance it doesn't work. And they were like, okay, like I'm going to test it and see if it works. So he tested it, didn't work. The thing was bunk. So long story short, after an hour of sitting there and waiting for a tow truck to come to tow my car, I popped open the hood and looked down and saw that my timing belt, which is basically what keeps everything going at the same, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're gonna,
very important mechanism.
Yes. If you need to know about cars, I'm not the guy to come to. I know basic stuff, whatever. I'm not going to explain it here. My timing belt was in pieces everywhere because it just hadn't been replaced by my aunt and uncle in forever. And they didn't
fuck. That's like huge. Like to
pieces. That could have happened on the highway and then I could have been screwed and stranded somewhere. What the heck, guys? That was really rude of you.
Making sure your timing belt has been replaced is like huge. Clearly.
Yeah.
Like, as you can see from the car just shitting itself.
Yeah.
So I have a good one that I know you'll have a very similar story to, because we talked about this yesterday.
So we're back, and I have a Sailor Moon shirt on because I was sweating my balls off. So, you're gonna have to deal with this shirt that is very, very tight on my body. So that is what we're doing for the rest of the podcast.
All right. So my story, because I also have a story that just happened in a car. It's not like doesn't have to do with anything like with a car necessarily. Like, well, I mean the car got pretty fucked. But this one is my own story. I was driving this same car. So it was about a year ago. It was just over a year ago. I was moving into school sophomore year of college. So a year ago, I was driving myself. And so I had this like rattling under my car for like weeks. And I looked it up and they said it was most likely my heat shield. Like that's what everything on the internet said.
Yep.
And so according to car internet, people debate whether or not heat shields are necessary, which is a weird thing. Like if it's on the car, I feel like it would be, but maybe it's not. Well, I've been driving without one for over a year and we've been fine. So spoiler alert, I'm driving down to school and the rattling stops. I hear a loud noise. I look in my rear view mirror and I'm on the highway, just entered Massachusetts, and my heat shield is bouncing on the highway behind me at oncoming traffic. I am very, very lucky that it did not hit somebody else's car. It could have actually. I wouldn't know. That's like a metal object, but I guess I'm lucky it didn't like kill someone.
You didn't see it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
And so I'm sitting there losing my shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't go back. Like I'm halfway to school. I need to keep going. Like, what am I supposed to do? Called my dad. I'm like, Dad, issue, car falling apart. What do I do? And so,
Dad, please help me.
Yes, essentially did nothing. Here we are. But yeah, that was a crazy. Like I was scared as fuck. I was wow, part of my car just fell off while I was going 80.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? So actually, I have a way better one than this is the one that I mentioned to you the other day when we were talking about this.
Yes.
So I did community college in Lowell for a little bit before I decided to go back to Australia, right? So I had just done an oil change with my grandfather, and because he's got like a bay, so we lift the car up and we're able to do it. It's super easy. It's awesome. So I was in Lowell and I was coming back home and I had just gotten on the highway and I was like accelerating. I was stepping on it because I was, had a long day. I wanted to go zoom. So as I stepped on the gas, I could feel the car shake a little bit. And then all of a sudden I heard a gong, and I looked behind me and there was a little tin can just streaming behind me, right? And luckily there was nobody behind me, right? So and as I'm looking back, there's just oil all over the ground. And I was like, okay, it's time. We're pulling over. So I pulled over and I went to go get the tiny tin thing that fell off my car, and just seeing like it's like a blood spatter with how much oil my car leaked on the way there. And I picked the thing up. It's real nice and hot, as things connected to your car. And
it might not be if they had a heat shield.
It's my oil filter that we just put on. If there was a heat shield between the oil filter and the actual car.
Yeah.
But so I grabbed it and it was the oil filter that I just screwed in myself the day before. And it was the wrong size. We put in the wrong size oil filter. That's basically what it was. So I'm sitting on the side of the road. Dustin, my brother, had messed up earlier in the summer to where we had to use up all of my free tows from AAA. So I couldn't get a tow. I couldn't go anywhere. So I had to fix the problem myself.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what happened was I was like, okay, I don't have anywhere else to turn. And since I just saw my grandfather, I was like, all right, it's time to call him. So I called him and I was like, hey, I'm broken down on the side of the highway and I need help. Like, there's nowhere else I can go. And he was like, okay, well, say less. I guess I can't say no. So he drove down. He lives about 30 miles north of where, not 30 miles. It was about 30 minutes north.
Yeah.
30 minutes north of where I am. So he had to make the trek all the way down to Lowell, and I'm just sitting in my car, and it's like getting cold around the season where it's getting cold. It's about this time of year, and like I can't keep the heat on. I can't keep running the car because I'm running it without oil. So I'm just sitting there as the car is slowly getting colder, and about an hour and a half later, he shows up with the correct oil filter, and there's a little wrench that you can use to like kind of get it into place better. And
Yeah.
But like the thing is, like, I don't know if you've noticed with older relatives is they know highway systems very well. I don't. I'm just like,
Oh no.
okay.
No.
I'm like, I use Waze, man. I use Google Map. Like, I don't need all of this. So he's like, okay, so where are you? And I was like, oh, well, I'm just like leaving Lowell. Like, and I was describing him the place. So it took us like 20 extra minutes to try to like locate exactly where I was. And then I saw him pulling up with his Prius, as he does. And so then we put the oil in, we got the new one on, but then we found like it wouldn't tighten as much as it should. So we ran to 3 separate stores, and it took us 2 hours to get the correct fit onto with the wrench and to get that thing in place so I could go home. So like,
good Lord, dude.
Yeah, so like that oil filter falling off turned into a 4-hour, 5-hour ordeal where I ended up going into work insanely late because I still had to work that day. They weren't like, oh yeah, you can just not come in. They were like, no, you still very much need to come in. And there was like 2 hours left of my shift or something.
Market basket work?
No, not market basket work. Yeah.
Damn.
So so that
Market
one's
basket
definitely
would never. They would never.
Dude. Dude, do you think we could get in trouble if we admitted to doing terrible things at Market Basket on the podcast?
I work there still. So yes.
Oh, fuck. That sucks. All right. And no, okay, that's fine.
I'm still employed by Market Basket.
Still employed.
So
all right, that's fine. I won't jeopardize your employment.
One day, I would hope that this is my last year being employed there because I want to have an internship next summer. But for now, yes, there are a lot of great stories though.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of high quality ones. I have ones just independent. I have a ton of them independently.
There's some good stuff that happens at Market Basket.
Yeah.
I just have one more car story.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So one more car story. This is junior year of high school. I went to the YMCA to play basketball with Evan and Troy, and I don't know I know you remember this night. It rained like incredibly that night. It was raining like it was a ton of rain. Rained like crazy.
Monsoon season.
Yeah, so it was probably right around 4 years ago, 3 years ago. No, 4 years ago today. Probably right around there. It happened in October, I think. But so a couple things happened that night. One of them was we're playing basketball at the YMCA. As I mentioned, it is pouring. The roof at the YMCA, you know how it's like a tarp?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a hole in the thing. Didn't know that. Was running up, like to dunk on one of the small hoops for fun.
Nice.
Absolutely busted my knee. Busted my knee like crazy, like bad. Like my knee is still messed up.
Yeah.
Like it just never fully healed from that incident. I sprained my MCL. I found out months later at an MRI.
To this day, YMCA rain has taken you down.
No, I'm serious. If I'm sitting still for too long, like say I'm laying down, and when I get up, my left knee like hurts. It gets extremely stiff compared to the other one.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, so remember this, so that this has happened. And so not long after that we're like, okay, we'll dip. Like we'll leave the YMCA. And so it's dark outside at this point, and so we're leaving the YMCA. And we're about to turn out onto Daniel Webster in Merrimack. And we drive into we're driving Evans Saab. We drive into probably about 2.5 feet of water. Like just.
Oh, that's yes. Oh,
You remember this now?
yes. Good kid.
So
Sob City.
yeah, so we just drive. Yeah, Evans Saab. We drive into probably 2.5 feet of water. Like just you couldn't see the puddle because there was no light, and there was literally just nothing we could do. Just straight into it.
Oh.
So the car is stuck in this massive puddle of water, this small lake, this pond that formed on this road. And we're just sitting in it. And so I'm sitting here, my knee is fucking throbbing. And
you freshly sprained or torn MCO?
Sprained.
Freshly sprained MCO. You are in 2.5 feet of water. What do you do?
Yeah. So we start freaking out. We're like, okay, is the water going to come through the bottom? Like, is there any chance that, like, if we were to try to get out, would we get electrocuted? Because we weren't sure, like, because is the water going to be electric? Like, is it going to be a conductor? And so we didn't know. And so we're freaking out a little bit. So we open the sunroof and we're like, Troy, stick your head out and like see how deep the water is, see if there's a chance we could like jump to like land, or if there's like, you know, anything like that. And so while Troy is doing this, Evan's car dies. And reminder, it is pouring rain. So we are now stuck in a 2.5 foot pond on the street with the sunroof open while it is pouring rain.
Nice.
So the car is just getting soaked. We're getting soaked. It's cold in there now because the car isn't closed up. So people are just driving by us on the other side of the road. They're just going to the left of us and keep going like, okay, cool. Thank you for stopping. And
kindness of people
never
ceases to amaze me.
So Evan calls AAA and they do not come for probably about an hour. We were sitting there for like an hour.
I never knew that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we were just booling. Like, we called our friend Jack, and we were like, Jack, we're not going to make it. We're going to die. Like, just wanted to let you know, like, when you go into Spanish class tomorrow and me and Evan aren't there, like, just know that we perished terribly.
We perished in the waters. We perished in the monsoon.
Yeah, we've been taken by the sea. And
we've been taken back to our original place.
Yeah.
The sea.
And
where all life had come from.
So then after a while, AAA gets there, tows us out. Evan's mom comes and picks us up and like brings me and Troy home, and Evan back to his house. But just as Evan's mom gets there, like, she obviously can't cross the street. You know what I mean? So she's on the other side of Daniel Webster Highway. And mind you, I have been sitting in this car now for an hour and a half. I haven't moved my knee at all. I can put absolutely zero weight on this thing at this point.
Yep.
Because it has been just not moving at all. So it is
freshly sprained. Yes.
Tender as hell.
Yep.
And it's pouring rain. And so Troy and Evan each take one of my arms and I hobble across with one leg and they walk with me across Daniel Webster Highway, which is a busy street. Like, that is nuts.
Dude, you guys in the pouring rain, like, just disheveled with the car in 2.5 feet of water.
Yeah.
Like that right there, album cover.
Yes. And like, no, people don't know this, but like, I'm like 5'5". At the time I was probably like 5'4". Evan is like 6'5". Like, the height difference with him having to come down to me to like get my get under my shoulder, my armpit, so I could like actually walk was funny as hell. But yeah, that's
Joey's not a small dude either.
no, I am though. Thank you. But yeah. So that was my my final car story, and that's a good one. That's a classic.
Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one. So okay, so I have let me just. So I have some like questions that I just generally like. I like to ask these questions, so I want to see on an average day, how many pigeons do you think you could carry like reasonably, like with you throughout your daily activities? How many pigeons could you hold either in your arms? I mean, if you need to use a coat, you can use like some props as long as you can hold the pigeons in that prop and you can hold them off the ground all day.
Yeah, you've gone over this with me before too, and
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said the first time. But in my daily life, I could probably get one in each pocket, right?
You can stuff one in each pocket.
Yeah, one in each pocket. If I'm wearing a sweatshirt, I could get two in like the pouch.
Yep.
You know? I could. Mm, I could wear joggers and put them in my pant legs.
That's a good one.
So at that point, I could probably fit like 4 or 5 in each leg, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you tie up their claws and stuff,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's what. Even if you don't, fuck it, I don't care. Scratch me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not. I ain't no bitch.
Good.
Bitch.
Biatch.
Bitch. Hate that word still, but
Yeah.
but yeah. Um, Within the sweatshirt, you could fit several. I'm gonna go with somewhere around 15 to 20.
I was gonna say 20 because I
Yeah.
think confidently, if I have a good belt, right, I could put I could put 5 pigeons in a baggy sweatshirt, and then I could put 5 pigeons down each leg. So that's already got me to 15.
Mhm.
Don't even mind if I have like a small bin that I take with, like a small like Rubbermaid container that I take with me. And then I've got the hood, and if I wear a tall hat, dude, I've at least got 20 to 22 pigeons available to me at all day.
I didn't even think about a hat. That's a good point.
Dude,
If you
yeah,
go
the hat,
Abe
that's the
Lincoln
thing.
with
You
it,
got the magician, yeah, you got the magician hat, you got the Abe Lincoln hat.
yeah.
That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole other angle that I don't think anybody ever really appreciates. Have you ever okay, I should ask, have you, when you were younger, did you ever do any like questionable style stuff? Like you ever take a chance on something that you always wanted to wear and then
Oh,
it just
oh,
didn't
n-
land?
not with that, but like, not take a chance, but like, if you want to talk about like the shit I wore,
Uh-huh.
yeah, from the ages of like 8 to 12, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
13,
Oh, those are peak
dude,
cringe clothing years.
fucking terrible.
Yeah.
God.
Dude, you know what? You know what always got me? So I had the long swoopy hair, right? Like
Yeah.
I kind of still hang or whatever, but like I had the really long swoopy hair. And what I would do is I thought it was so you know how Disney Channel shows they dress how no kids ever dress?
Yeah.
Like finger gloves.
Yeah.
Dude, I wanted fingerless gloves so bad, and I got them. I wore fingerless
Oh.
gloves to school, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
I was
glad
that
I
kid.
didn't know
Yeah,
you then.
you missed that era. Yeah, so maybe moving around really did help me in the long run, but so yeah, no, I was the fingerless gloves kid, and I was also the kid. Oh,
No
you
hate, by
remember?
the way, just note if anyone else wore fingerless gloves, I'm not hating on you.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'm
Okay,
not
I should
because
have.
I don't know you. I will hate on Cody for it though.
Yeah, so on me, fingerless gloves did not work. So like there's ways you could do it where if you're like doing like if you're super into fashion, you're like doing tech wear or whatever, like other avant-garde kind of styles. I was just a kid who did not embody the soul of fingerless gloves, and I was wearing them. And I didn't do them well. And I also did, what was another thing I did? I did the neon thing for a while. I think we all were guilty of that.
Not me.
You never did neon.
Nope. Thank God.
Wave. Wow.
Shout out my mom.
Yeah, dude. Well, okay. It was selective because I kept the problem is my mom kept not wanting to buy them for me because I kept getting them dirty.
Yeah.
Because it was so easy to get those like Nike whatever dry fit things dirty. My
Yeah.
mom was like, well, we don't have a huge budget to work with here. Why are you just getting clothes that's gonna make you look disgusting all the time? Like you look gross.
Yeah.
So I was like that.
And I guess shout out my stepbrother Sam because I got a lot of his hand-me-down clothes, and the clothes that I were getting were not neon. So I guess maybe he never went through that phase, which resulted in me never going through that phase.
Wow. Shout out.
So he might have gone through the phase, but at least the clothes that I got weren't.
Got him out of there.
So no neon phase for me, which is huge. I am thankful for that every day.
Yeah. Did you ever make any like, okay, so I know I grew out my hair because of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, right?
Yeah.
And like I was like, dude, my name on a TV show and with characters that I like, oh, that's me. That is my identity, and now I am going to have my hair reflect that. And like, okay, I'm gonna say like bands like 303 and Hot Shell Ray definitely had a huge, they had a not small part in making you want that like emo boy textured like long hair. Dude, that was all I wanted for several years of my life, is that hair.
But I mean, in fourth grade my hair was pretty long, like got to my eyebrows.
Wow.
My hair got to eyebrows. My eyebrows past it during quarantine, but I just styled my hair differently, so what didn't seem as long.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on? Did you want to, do you feel good about what we did with the podcast today?
I do. I always do. I always do.
Yeah. All right. Good. Epic. So, yeah, that's the podcast, dude. So that's the Code Will Pod this week, guys. I appreciate y'all listening as Will does, and we'll see you again next week.
All right, guys. Peace. Hope you enjoyed.
Okay, bye.